Africa is a wonderland of wildlife. But going on a traditional safari and staying at luxury lodges can cost a small fortune. Fortunately, there is another way to see the spectacular sights of the African bush: the do-it-yourself safari. We're at Kruger National Park in South Africa. It's just a few hours' drive from Johannesburg's International Airport. But that short drive brings you to a place where lions are still king of the jungle, where buffalo roam, where huge herds of elephants tromp through the bushveld.
We say it is the jewel in the crown of South Africa, the Kruger Park.
But there's no place in the U.S. you can see this. There's no place in North America you can see this. This doesn't exist in North America.
Founded in 1898, Kruger is the largest national park in South Africa, sprawling across an area the size of New Jersey. The park was created primarily to preserve and protect wildlife and the habitat they need to survive. But Kruger is also a place where humans are welcome. Visitors can drive around the park on their own in search of individual adventures.
It has numerous animals, wonderful animals, fantastic birds, and you drive yourself around wherever you want to go, and you see what you want, you stop when you want, and you move on when you want, and it's
Total
just
freedom, isn't it?
wonderful, total freedom.
The majority of our visitors, they drive on their own. It's very interesting to find your own lion out there, find your own elephants there.
And if you get lucky, you might find an amazing scene like this: lions feeding on a fresh zebra kill. Even in a park as large as Kruger, word gets around about such a spectacle, so you'll probably have company. Cars congregate to get a close look at this grisly glimpse of raw nature. To make sure visitors don't become the lion's next meal, rangers strictly enforce the park's most important rule: stay inside your vehicle.
The first basic rule: you do not get out of your vehicle anywhere except in the designated areas like our rest camps, our picnic spots, and gates.
It's unlike any park in the United States because in Kruger you cannot get out of the car because something might eat you.
And park rangers also make sure visitors obey the speed limits. Going slow makes it easier to spot wildlife and to avoid colliding with the critters.
You need to keep to the speed limit, because if you do not keep to the speed limit, it can become very dangerous. Do you imagine if you're driving at 100 kilometers an hour and an elephant jumps in front of you? That will be the end of yourself.
Elephants often hog the roads at Kruger, and a compact car looks like a tin can compared to a 2-ton tusker. Because Kruger is so huge, most visitors spend at least several days inside the park. Kruger has 12 large rest camps with affordable accommodations like these rondavels, small cottages built in a native style. They are not luxurious, but they do have outdoor kitchens, comfortable beds, and even air conditioning.
We're in the middle of the African bush, and you come and you get home in the evening, and you've got a hot shower, you've got braai, you've got fridge, you've got a flush toilet. What more can you ask for? Comfortable bed with air conditioning.
Other visitors prefer camping in trailers or tents they bring along, or you can rent platform tents provided by the park. The rest areas have grocery stores, gift shops, and restaurants, though you may have to share your table with some of the wildlife. The larger camps have gas stations, so you can fill up without having to leave the park. The camps are securely enclosed with electrified fences to keep the lions and leopards and elephants outside. But a few of the smaller animals still manage to find a way inside. Many visitors, especially South Africans, come to Kruger year after year.
But what I do like is that it's very rustic. So, and I enjoy the thatch. The smell of the thatch is something you know, as soon as I come here, it reminds me of like all the years when I've been coming here as a child.
The Uberbacher family of Pretoria, South Africa, has been coming to Kruger for more than 30 years.
How I would describe it? Well, tranquil, getting away from the cities, you know, being really part of creation.
All of the rest areas have overlooks where you can relax and have a drink. They call them sundowners here, while you watch a real-life nature show unfold in front of you.
We were just remembering just here, just down on the other side there, we were sitting one lunchtime and 4 male lions, quite young, weren't they? Yes. But they'd got big manes. We were watching them, you know, oh, there's 4 lions, and we were watching them through our binos. And suddenly we realised it was an ambush, and they ambushed a buffalo and killed it just there. Yeah. It was good, eh?
Big prey, a buffalo.
Good, eh?
Yeah, big prey.
The camp gates are closed from dawn to dusk, and cars line up to get an early start each day. You may drive for miles and miles without seeing much, but you never know what you might find around the next bend. Perhaps a giraffe ambling down the road. Perhaps something more menacing.
And then we were driving on one of the gravel roads, and there was a pride of lions just sitting in the shade.
In the middle of the road?
In the middle of the road.
The male and 5 females. Mm-hmm. Amazing.
With patience, you're sure to find some remarkable sights, perhaps a close-up view of an elephant's eye.
It's the San Diego Wild Animal Park on steroids. And the animals will come up to your car window, and you keep the windows rolled up for good reason, because baboons have teeth longer than lions.
Even the tiniest creatures can be fascinating, like the red-headed weaver with its hanging nest.
You can spend 3 hours watching a dung beetle and nobody minds. And that's the beauty of it. And in fact, we have done that.
We have.
We spent 3 hours watching a dung beetle do its thing.
We are here in October, early spring in South Africa. The park is still dry and mostly brown, but the sparse vegetation makes it much easier to find wildlife that would otherwise be hidden by the brush. During the dry months, you may see smoldering stumps and other evidence of fires in the park. Some are natural fires caused by lightning. Others are controlled burns set to protect park buildings and stimulate new growth.
Those areas that are burned now, if you come after the first rain, they will be lovely, they will be green, they will be, you know, all the animals like your giraffes, your impalas and zebras and wildebeeste who like this open areas will be congregating in those areas, eating there.
During the night, park visitors are normally restricted to the rest camps. But if you make reservations, you can go on a nighttime ride in a safari truck, peering into the darkness with the help of spotlights.
So look all over the place, and if we get relatively close to these animals, try not to shine directly into their eyes, especially with elephant, hippo and rhino. Those 3 animals, they tend to become a little bit nervous, start running towards the light, and that's us. So we try to avoid that.
The night air is refreshingly cool. Visibility is limited, but you might catch a glimpse of a spotted hyena slinking through the brush. If you want to get even closer to nature, out in the bush on the ground, you can do that too, but only on scheduled treks with park rangers, heavily armed rangers. On these hikes through the bush, safety is a constant concern.
But when we're busy approaching a dangerous animal, at that stage we're concentrating on the dangerous situation and trying to get you into a good position, safe position. And as soon as we get to a safe position, and then we look back, and there's like a person a kilometer behind us, busy taking pictures of the group, and the elephant busy charging towards that person. So please, try and stay with the group, don't lag behind.
The ranger-led hikes are reasonably priced, but offer a wealth of information about the plants and animals in the park. For instance, why this tree was so highly prized by the natives.
Toilet paper bush toilet paper bush. You just basically fold it up like that and you can use it as toilet paper. Biodegradable.
The rangers are friendly, knowledgeable, and sharp-eyed. They might find elephant tracks in the dust.
You see clearly they moved down. The reason why I say it, okay, in this case you can actually see the toe marks.
They can even determine that a rhino has been munching on a certain bush just by the bite marks.
Black rhinos, they bite off the twigs about 1 to 3 centimeters long with what we call the premolar teeth, the side teeth. And they bite off all the twigs with at a 45-degree angle. You can see that angle. This way it will work better. You can see that angle clearly, huh? So it might be, black rhinos are also very aggressive animals. So it might be one of the reasons why they're so aggressive, because if you also have to defecate toothpicks, you'll also be a bit more aggressive.
They can tell you the animal's habits and habitats, and even their scientific classifications.
Now, for instance, lion, leopard, and tiger, they put under one genus called Panthera. The reason for that is because they can all roar. As if you take, for instance, cheetah, they put under another genus. The reason for that is because, as I've mentioned, cheetahs, they cannot withdraw their claws, and then also cheetahs have a very loose spine.
These hikes normally cover several miles in a few hours, but the park also offers multi-day hikes on wilderness trails in more remote regions.
To me, that is the closest you can come to nature, because you can touch and smell things out there in the bush.
And that brings me to this point that, you know what, Shangaan women, I'm sorry to say this, but it's true, they're very expensive. They're very expensive.
Just outside of Kruger, you can get a glimpse into the lives of the natives who lived in this part of Africa before the park was created. At the Shangana Cultural Center, women in traditional dress demonstrate how sleeping mats are woven while the village elder looks on. After dark, the Shangaan people entertain visitors with dances tracing the history of their tribe. With a fire crackling and drums beating, you can almost imagine you've stepped back in time. Native cultures and customs may be fading as South Africa builds itself into a modern nation, but its people are determined to safeguard the wildlife and wild places that make their country such a global treasure.
We are the pillars of the economic situation in this area, and also we are one of the icons in this country that brings in foreign visitors.
The Kruger National Park attracts more than 1 million visitors every year. Each one of them leaves with priceless memories of this extraordinary place.
One time we were here, and just down where that fever tree is, it was so hot. It was one of those days where everything was shimmering, and there were a group of elephant, about 6 or 7, and there was the tiniest little baby. It must have been like days old, and they were distressed with the heat, and there wasn't very much water, and the mother stood all day long over the baby. The baby was in the shade, and every now and again he suckled, didn't he? And we just thought, there's good mothering.
I think it's a very special place where you kind of also feel close to God. Because you've got all the amazing sunsets, the beautiful animals. It's almost like time has stood still here.
here. Shirunga